What if I told you waiting to retire could cost you the best years of your life? We struggled with that, and we want to talk to you today about why it's so important to think about retiring right now.
It's like that whole idea of perfect time, right? Is there ever a perfect time to change jobs? Is there ever a perfect time to have a baby? Is there ever a perfect time to change your investment strategy? Is there ever a perfect time to get a puppy?
Yeah, well,
What is your perfect time? We're telling you 2025 could be your perfect time to retire.
and we struggled with this. We really did. I was in a family business, and we sold it in 2013. And my brother and I sold it, and it was a time I was, how old was I? 50.
Well, you're
50,
53.
55. 55.
We can't figure it
I
out.
was 55.
Okay.
Sold my company, and I thought I'd work for the new company for at least 10 more years. I loved it. I was involved with the leadership team now, and I was flying around the country, going to meetings with 125 other office leaders, and I was engaged, and I was important, and I was excited. I loved my boss. I loved what I was doing until I didn't.
Right.
And then I was like, this is not what I thought it would be. I always had fun when I was running the company and making all the decisions. But now that I was not running the company and I was just another one, 125 people reporting in our numbers to this public company, it wasn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
So I did it for 3 years. And then I said,
You did it for 5 years.
well, I did it for 3. And then I said, I want to retire. And
Right.
we both talked about, no, we better wait. So we waited 2 more years.
Right.
And it was awful. I mean, it was, right?
you were fortunate because you could make independent decisions based on how you felt valued or not valued.
Right.
I always feared retiring because, I didn't grow up with anything, and I just feared not having enough money. And I think a lot of people fear retiring because you're kind of worried about not having enough money. For me, I had a different relationship with money than Mark did growing up and through my earning years, and certainly even now in retirement. And the retirement word scared me because it meant that I was no longer accumulating assets. And that was my biggest fear
Right.
in picking a retirement date. I don't know if that resonates with you guys, but if it does, leave a note below. That was my biggest fear.
Well, I think you're right.
And it just depends on your relationship with money. I mean, and Mark will say this to me often, I approach things from a position of scarcity sometimes because I grew up, my mom had a clicker. I don't know if any of you know what a clicker is, but we would go through the grocery store and she would actually, back in the day, 50, almost 60 years ago, click in the amount of what each item costs so she knew if she had enough cash when we got to the checkout area. And so I kind of grew up with that mindset of scarcity. And retirement, to me, equaled scarcity.
Well, I love that story because you also told the story about you and your brother and your mom would be shopping together, and your brother would put
Count Chocula.
Count Chocula cereal.
Do you guys remember Count Chocula?
Count Chocula cereal in the basket, and your mother would, you get to the end and say, we don't have eggs yet, so something in here has to come out.
And I was hopeful it would be the dumb Count Chocula,
Yeah.
but Michael usually got what he wanted.
Yeah, so certainly money is an issue, and we hear a lot from people that I don't have enough money yet. And I want to clear the air on something about that. You can still keep working.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I'm a big proponent of you should keep working for the rest of your life. Now, it could be volunteer work, but it also could be paid. And that keeps you engaged, inspired, and takes away this fear of what am I going to do all day long? Because if you don't have some of these things in place when you retire, then I can understand why you don't want to do it. But we're going to give you some ideas in a minute on what you can do to make sure that, I am ready, I'm going to do it, I'm excited, because I want to live the next 20, 30 years of my life not a slave to the company I work for now.
Well, can I also just say on that point of keeping working, right? So you worked through your whole career to accumulate assets and wealth and savings and all the things, right? All the things.
Right.
But you either punched a clock or you were on the clock or you had work hours or, there wasn't a lot of flexibility. You weren't really in charge of your schedule, perhaps. I think the difference is the currency in retirement is time.
Right.
It isn't money.